mess with it. You can fix the clock.
I'd like to call the Wednesday, August 19th board meeting to order. Councilman Arnold Selesky, please lead us.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No, thank you. All righty. So for the supervisor's report, along.
Excuse me, is Zoom going to be on? I know there are people on.
It's on.
Oh, there is? Okay.
It's not on TV.
Oh, well, hold on. It's the wrong channel. It might be. It's on. It's on channel 3, set 4. Go ahead.
So I'll keep the supervisor's report short, but it's a very important meeting to me tonight because we're finally going to go out to bid for our water main replacement project. So it's a problem that needed fixing for a long time, and I'm proud that this board is finally going out to bid to start fixing our infrastructure problems. With that, let's go into citizens' comments.
I don't have any citizens.
I do.
No. I thought he was talking about the ones that were mailing in.
I have comments.
Okay. No, that's Ivan Coulter.
Yep.
You're just a regular citizen today?
Yeah, I'm a citizen, you know. Ivan Coulter, 201 Pleasant Valley Road. I have 5 complaints that I've been saving up for a number of years. The first is Pleasant Valley Road. Every single road and side road of no consequence has been plowed, have been paved, chipped and tarred except Pleasant Valley Road. Pleasant Valley Road is a horror. It's designed to ruin suspensions. Now I'm told from various sources that's sort of less than credible that the problem is the bridge. If the problem is the bridge, then Pleasant Valley Road should be paved from the bridge to its end on both sides, and then pave over the bridge when that's resolved. I know that all municipalities have now been patching. I know on Route 17 between Rock Hill and the Fallsburg exit, the town, the state has paved a strip where it was unusually rough. There's no reason why the town cannot pave Pleasant Valley Road on both sides of the bridge if the bridge is a problem. That's number one. Number 2 is Murphy Road. I go on Murphy Road nearly every day. Murphy Road has 2 major developments on either end. One is Scott's, and the other is Landsman's. Both of those places have inserted in the middle of the road crosswalks done on their own, and there are signs in the middle of the road, crosswalk, stop when people cross the road. Those signs are in the middle of Murphy Road. 2 by Scott's, 3 by Landsman's, are hazard to people driving on that road. It is a narrow road, and if somebody's walking on the road, you're either going to have to drive in the opposite lane or strike one of those posts. I wrote to your highway superintendent. I called actually first to complain about it. I sent a letter complaining about Murphy Road. Nothing was done. So that's my second concern. My third concern is Camp Benos Yisrael Witness. That's the old Belfiore Hotel. Now, there is an ordinance in the town regarding loudspeakers. They constantly, this is the old Belfiore Hotel, it's on Elm Street, Pleasant Valley Road. They constantly play their loudspeaker for games, announcements, music. We call the police department usually once a week. The police department does its job. They're good. They call, or they drive over there, and the music and the noise stops. They saw that summons were issued, otherwise there's no motivation for this gross abuse of neighbors who want to live in the town peacefully and quietly and not hear games being played for hours at a time. Third, or my fourth actually, is security lamps. I wrote to the town about this a long time ago. The town of Wawarsing has a security lamp ordinance which limits the amount of lumens and requires security lamps to remain on people's property. Now, my neighbors are good. I complained to some of them and they changed the location of their lamps. But there are some lamps that face traffic at night. And there's one on Murphy Road, in fact, if you're traveling from Woodburn to South Fallsburg, there's a security lamp that faces drivers on the road. So I think the town should consider a security lamp ordinance that would require these lamps to be on their own property and not facing the road. My last complaint is Ingber Park. Ingber Park is a wonderful thing for the people in this town. It's great, and it's wonderful, and it's used. It's a pigsty. The people who use that park leave garbage all over the place. And the town, I understand, the town employees cleans it up every morning. Town does a good job cleaning it up. I have no problem with the town. The people who use this park should be forced to clean it up. There is an ordinance about litter, and there are fines for leaving litter on the ground. If the people don't want to clean up their litter, let them play in the garbage that they leave. Once again, the town is doing a good job. They're maintaining it well, cleaning it up, but the people who use that should be forced to clean up when they're going. Once again, thanks for your attention, but my really big concern is Pleasant Valley.
So, I never would want to put him on the spot, but we have like a celebrity row, if you look in the back of the room. Not only we have the best mayor Woodridge has ever seen, but we have Anthony Duretzky, the head of our highway department. So Anthony, can you speak a little bit about Pleasant Valley Road and what plans do we have in the future and what exactly has prevented us from?
So Pleasant Valley Road, it is the box culverts there by the golf course. There's a grant they're waiting on. It's a Class A stream, I believe they call it. So
Right.
There's a lot involved with the DEC, and it's progress. I'll just say it is. We're you know, in progress. To pave the road would be kind of crazy on either side because of the amount of truck traffic that would be going across that, you know,
Right.
to replace the bridge, the box culvert.
That bridge also, I think the culvert is starting to deteriorate in one of the sides pretty bad. So we will look into it and we will get back to you with the.
Yeah, but, you know, I'm not familiar with how you build roads, but if you can pave a road or chip and tar a road, I don't understand why you can't do it from either end.
So what I think Anthony is saying is we're expecting them to replace that bridge and culvert shortly. And forget about the paving going up to the bridge, we can stop, but the amount of truck and heavy traffic from the vehicles that they use to fix that bridge would destroy any improvements we made on that road. So they want to fix the culvert and bridge first and then go over it. Is that, I think, where you're?
Yes.
Well,
So I will make it, you know, I will take it upon myself to find out what the plan is with the county to deal with that bridge and the culvert there, and I will get back to you.
all right, thanks.
You're welcome.
Take care, everyone.
Take care.
Good night.
Anybody else want to sign up for citizens' comments?
He sold his building. He sold his building.
Christina Flex.
Hello.
Hi. I missed the last meeting, but I heard that, that it was expressed that there was a lack of interest in that, roundtable.
Yes.
So-
Not a lack, just not what we expected.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say I am very interested in it, and I've been talking to some folks on Facebook. There are a bunch of people who have expressed interest. I wanted to ask though, are you doing anything besides Facebook to spread the word about this? Because not everybody is on social media.
Yes. Well, I mean, we certainly have made it clear through many different channels, including social media here at our meetings. I don't want to say we have had no interest, but we've had basically, if we picked everyone that applied, and I'm not sure that everybody that applied is a suitable candidate, thank you, Arnold, you know, we would have barely enough. So the summer has been busy, we've had a lot going on that I haven't been able to give it the time. So now that the season is ending, and again, last week I talked about maybe instead of having all community members, having community members mixed with some experts, you know, maybe NICEAG, DOT, to kind of work together with the community members. So I think in the fall, maybe we'll get our hands around the whole project, but I was expecting 30 or 40 applications, and I think we've had 7, and we wanted a 10-member board, so.
I feel like if you're adding experts in, that's gonna dilute the community voice, because those experts are gonna be from businesses and have a different agenda.
I wasn't saying businesses, I meant.
Well, even NYSEG will have a different agenda, may have a different agenda than residents, so
Yeah.
just to put my 2 cents in about that.
Yeah.
But also, if you could at some point, share with folks like what the criteria are for what makes a suitable member, that might be helpful, and also to let us know who is making that judgment.
I was the one honestly making that judgment. I've seen groups like this that have personalities that don't mend well with others, very opinionated and not able to work with other people type of personalities. So some of our applicants honestly were that. I do disagree with you with the experts, because when you talk about growth or development, to have the input of NYSEG, which is controlling the tower in the future, and the DOT and other experts that basically dictate some of the decisions that are going to be made, whether you like their opinions or not, they're very important to certain decisions.
I'm not saying they shouldn't have input, I'm saying
And
that the seats on the round table should
Yeah.
be residents, and the
Well,
experts could be in an
I
advisory
think,
capacity.
I think the supervisor's talking about going a different route, from a round table to something where everybody would meet together and all these different opinions would be expressed. I guess he's gonna work on something like that.
We're all going to work on it, but yes, Arnold, that he is correct. It was always a steering committee. It was, to discuss the issues of the town.
Yeah, I mean, I emailed right after you put
Right.
it out, and to get some information on what the criteria were, what your plan was for, how the different hamlets would be represented, and there was no information coming back at that time, and I think that you might get more interest if there was more visibility into what the overall plan for the roundtable is.
I
Just my
will
2 cents.
take that into consideration, thank you.
Thanks.
I appreciate it.
Is anybody online? Pam Wagner. Pam, please unmute.
Can you hear me?
We hear you.
Hi, good evening, Town Board and Supervisor. Hi,
Hello,
Nathan.
hello, hello.
I have several follow-up questions regarding matters I have previously raised before this board. When important questions are raised at Town Board meeting, residents should receive an answer either at the meeting or at the next meeting. If the town needs additional time to investigate, a status update should be provided. With that in mind, I would like to follow up on these outstanding matters. By the way, I sent the whole board my statement so you could follow along. I just sent the email a few minutes ago. Number 1, just like Christina said, the Community Roundtable. The Community Roundtable was proposed in January as a way for residents and town officials to work together on issues affecting the community. At the last meeting, Nathan said that there had been very little interest. Several residents have told me, submitted letters expressing their interest. How many people expressed interest? How many participants in the town is the town looking for? Is the roundtable still moving forward? And if so, when can residents expect it to begin? Number 2, 300 La Vista Drive. I raised this issue at a previous meeting and understand that TJ Brawley will be following up. It has now been more than a month since the Fallsburg Future article was published. Has TJ followed up? And if so, what were his findings? If not, what is the current status? Number 3, the Reviewer property. I would like an update on the demolition of the condemned school at 36 Laurel Avenue and progress toward the new Reviewer Medical Center. There is already significant funding behind the project, including $1 million federal grant for the new facility and $755,450 in Restore New York funding for clearing the site. What is the current status of the demolition? What is the town doing to help move this project forward? Is anything currently holding up the project? Number 4, the Lock Shelter Fire Department property in KJ Estates. KJ Estates is the adjacent property owner, and there have been concerns about trees and land being cleared and damage to the fence on the fire department property. What has been done about this? Has the town or fire department addressed the damage with KJ Estates? And what is the current status? Number 5, well 1B and sustainable water capacity. I would like an update on Lock Shelter well 1B and the February agreement involving Ellie Grizel. Has the town engineer, Ken Ellsworth, been able to pump additional water from well 1B as contemplated by that agreement? If so, did pumping well 1B have an effect on the nearby well 1? My understanding is that February testing did not demonstrate additional capacity. If that is correct, summer is an important time to test the system again when demand is higher and many seasonal residents are here. The question is whether well 1B can provide additional water at a sustainable rate without affecting the existing water supply. So the questions are, has the town verified that there is enough sustainable water capacity for existing residents and additional development? And if so, what engineering data supports that conclusion, and when was it obtained? Thank you. I look forward to the town's responses. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you.
You may want to send her something. What?
Okay, is there anybody else? We got,
Yes. Hello, my name is Ari Brunat.
You have to sign off.
Sir,
Sir, please sign.
Go ahead, Mark.
There's a major issue in town of Fallsburg, there's a water issue. We need the town not to do anything about it, so we keep on complaining about water. Please, don't do anything about it, so we can keep on saying, don't build, don't do this, don't do this, there's no water, there's no water, there's no water. So please, don't do anything, and just we'll keep complaining, we'll keep saying, oh, there's too much development, there's no water, so please, keep that up, you're doing a good job, don't do anything about it, everything you will do, thank you.
Very nice.
All right, the Lock Shelter part.
Set that out for
all
us.
right. I mean, if you want
Learn
to,
your place.
That is my place.
No, it's
okay.
Yes. One question.
Yes, Jeff would like to answer one of Ann Wagner's questions.
Yesterday, Brazel, his engineer, met with Lock Shelter Fire Department and went through the whole thing. The blueprints, the survey, everything's up to par, everything's perfect. So that's done deal.
Okay,
That's,
thank you, Deputy Supervisor Weiner.
So just as an update on Rafua, Scott, did you receive a wire?
Yes, I did.
How much was the wire?
They were issued their demo permit, and we're waiting on them.
And we're sitting with $1.5 million in the town.
As an escrow if it goes bad, so we're completely held harmless.
So we have $1.5 million in escrow for Rafua.
Literally.
We
we're
have
like-
the demo permits in hand.
Yes. So
Okay.
they gotta be close.
We're
We
waiting
went
on.
by the other day, the machine's there.
It's been there, but we're waiting on them. They
Yeah,
have to
so
go
it's
ahead.
it's in their court.
Okay, but we
We're
feel
all-
like
yeah.
we're moving along.
Yeah, and from our standpoint, we're definitely secured in that.
Okay.
We have $1.5 million, which just covers the entire job in our
In that
escrow
fund.
account, in the town escrow account.
Okay,
So it's up to them to do it, and if something goes wrong, the town is able to make it right and finish. And it also makes it so that the town in administering this is completely covered because we have the entire escrow in hand. If something goes wrong with the grant, which is 100% responsible by the Rafua to comply with all of the strict requirements to get that grant.
thank you. One other note before we get into our agenda, a positive, non-controversial ribbon cutting is happening with our bridge project. I believe, Anthony, that we finished the rail trail, completed the upgrades to the trail today, is that correct?
Yes, we connected from the tunnel to the new portion that was done by the contractor today. We finished, Reeves Excavation was there to help us finish that, topsoil the edge. Left the old four-wheeler path there,
Yep,
and tomorrow morning I got a walkthrough with Harris.
and we have our official ribbon cutting September
17.
17th, so it's incredible, beautiful.
We did the Jersey barriers up on that
We
turn
did,
today.
we did.
Hopefully next week, the guardrail people will be here, is what that deal was telling us, the engineer was telling, the clerk of the works here was telling me today. So hopefully they'll have the we'll be able to remove those Jersey barriers and the proper guardrail will be in and we should be okay.
So what Anthony is referring to, on the Woodridge side of this bridge, which is really pretty incredible to see, and it came out, I'm so excited for our residents to be able to start using it. But what Anthony is referring to is they took out a section of guardrail on the Woodridge side of the bridge, and Anthony legitimately showed me, we went out there on Monday to look at it, that the way the guardrail is currently designed, that it leaves an open space, God forbid somebody doesn't navigate that hairpin turn. There's only a wooden, almost like a garden fence preventing a car from going off a 50-foot cliff into the river. So we talked to the engineer, we're obviously gonna remedy that and put a new guardrail up, but we were concerned enough to put cement barriers, which are not the most aesthetically pleasing solution, but they're temporary, just God forbid somebody doesn't navigate that turn, that they don't go over a cliff. So, thank you very much to Anthony. He contacted me, we immediately went out there, and within a day had a barrier put up. So, thank you for that, and I'm excited for the 17th and to have the public see really how beautiful it came out. It's been many years in the making.
Would the public be able to cross the bridge prior to the 17th?
No. So that's what I was gonna ask you to mention. People have been out there. Anthony encountered a group of like 50 people right now. It is not complete. It is not safe.
Right.
They're removing the barriers and they're just walking.
Yeah, there is like tape across, but people are going under it.
But it's not safe,
Up until today, when they finished the trail, there was heavy equipment working and bulldozers going back and forth. It certainly wasn't safe, but we would appreciate if everybody could just be a little bit more patient and wait until the 17th, so. All right, with that, into the agenda here. Item 1, motion to approve town board minutes dated 8/5/26.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 2, motion to approve warrant 0826 dated 8/7/26 in the amount of $743,493.93.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 3, motion to approve warrant 08A26 dated 8/10/26 in the amount of $278,447.33.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 4, motion to approve the employment of Aiden Healy as a cashier at the golf course with a pay rate of $16 an hour, effective 8/6/26.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 5, motion to approve the employment of Peter Frunze as a temporary senior account clerk with an hourly rate of $20 an hour, effective 8/12/26.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 6, motion to appoint Olivia Duretsky as a deputy town clerk number 2.
Motion.
Can
Second.
you just explain that, because I got several people asking.
Why don't you explain it?
So, Kristen, my deputy, is going over to the town park, to collect taxes for the school, because the town has, been hired by the school. So she won't be with me, in the fall. Just in case something goes wrong in either office, we wanna make sure that we're covered and we have somebody that can be in there. So she's not coming to work every day for us or anything like that. She works for the town, and we're gonna utilize her that way if, need be. And, Kristen's not losing her job or anything like that. She's still my appointee, deputy town clerk.
So the school approached the town. They've had struggles with collecting taxes the last few years, both because they didn't have a proper secure location, and it was just difficult for them to do. So we worked together, which will be, they're gonna compensate us or reimburse us for the expense of the office and the employee, and we're gonna continue to use that space to also collect our town taxes, so we have less issues with parking, and we're gonna set up a secure office there. So it worked. It was a win-win for both. Thank you, Paula.
Thank you.
Item 7.
I
Hold
didn't
on,
get
we
the
had, Mike was
motion.
motion and that's
I
it.
second it.
In favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Item 7, Motion to approve Hurleyville Annual Halloween Parade on 10/31/26.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 8, motion to approve Behan's Garage on the Town of Fallsburg tow list.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
I'm gonna abstain.
I didn't hear the vote. Aye. All right, motion passes. Number 9, motion to approve town clerk requesting bids for a water line project, New York State Route 42, with a bid due date of Tuesday, 9/29/26 at 2 p.m.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 10, motion to set a public hearing for a zone change for Landau Supermarket, SBL 52-5-2.1, from D to MX for 9/2/26 at 6 p.m.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There's a couple more motions I need you to make on that.
Okay.
One is we have to do seeker, environmental review. It's an unlisted action, because even though it's a zoning change, it doesn't meet the 25-acre threshold. It's just that one piece that's next to Landau's.
Okay.
So you have to make a determination that it's an unlisted action and declare the board as lead agency.
Okay.
So that can be a motion.
So motion,
To declare lead agency.
lead agency
On
for
a zone change, which is an unlisted action.
Then we get a motion?
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and then because it's right on the road, it needs to be referred to the county for a 239 review.
Get a
That
motion.
has to be a motion as well.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion
And then
passed.
just for the record, the local law was generated in your packet, so it's in front of you. There'll be draft resolutions available on a public hearing night. If there's a decision that night, it'll be ready. Other than that, you can keep the public hearing open, extend or whatever. And just additionally, this has already been to the planning board and recommended to the board to make this change. So all the procedures to get us to this point have been followed.
Okay, thank you. All right, next up, for our agenda is our discussion item, Davos, amendments to the Davos PUD, zoning text and map.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Hi, this young gentleman set the tone for professionalism and courtesy, so I'll continue that hopefully.
Okay, thank you.
George Duke from Fox Rothschild, on behalf of the applicant, which is Davos Valley LLC, Medel Payumo is here from ownership. And then I'm also joined by the engineering and planning firm VHB. We have Gina Martini and Vlad Aronsky. So we submitted an application on July 21st. First of all, over a year ago, we met with your planning consultants, Helen Budrock and Delaware Engineering, as well as Ken Ellsworth, the town engineer, on a proposed initial discussion to amend the Davos Valley Master Plan. And during discussions as to there's subtle changes that Medel and ownership were proposing that didn't neatly fit within the existing PUD zones. So what we're proposing here is to ultimately expand the existing PUD 4 to basically take over what's currently in PUD 8 and the REC zoning code. So we submitted an application, and it was recommended that we come back to the town board with the proposal to a zone change amendment. So we submitted an application on July 21st for 3 things. One, to amend the Davos Master Plan, the Davos Valley Master Plan. Second, to seek a zoning code text amendment. And then ultimately to amend the town of Fallsburg official zoning map. So Gina's going to run through the overall proposal to get into a little bit more detail, and of course we're here to preview it and to answer any questions. Thank you. Gina?
So, as you can see, I don't know if everyone can see from there, but the board that is up on top shows outlined in red the existing zoning.
I think you need to move it over. Can you guys see it?
No, not sure.
Right ahead.
Do you want me to twist it this
I think
way?
you're gonna have to move the whole thing.
Here,
Is
so
it
you
a-
can hand me that board and I'll help you with these. Here.
Much better. Well, you're blocking out Ocean.
Sorry.
Gina, I'll help you.
Okay.
Ocean, want to scoot over to the other side, or?
We're,
I mean, if you could put it in that corner, would be the best, I believe.
A little bit that way, just so you don't block that camera.
Oh,
Yep.
got it.
Perfect.
Good?
Okay,
Very nice.
good enough.
It's fine.
Okay, so as you can see, outlined in red is the entire Davos site, roughly 950 acres. Right now, the zoning falls in 3 different zones. The majority of the site is what's in yellow, that's the PUD 4. Portion of the site in green is the rec zone, and then the portion in orange is the PUD 8. As part of the master plan, there will be development covering roughly 40% of this site. We're not looking to redevelop the entire 950 acres, but roughly 40% will be redeveloped. But it is throughout the site, distributed throughout the site, and the master plan is here if you can see it. I know you've seen this before. Our goal with the rezoning is to bring everything into one cohesive zone, which is closest to the PUD 4, but there are also some uses that are permitted, for example, in the rec zone that are not permitted in the PUD 4. So we're looking to bring everything into one cohesive zone to include all of the uses that are contemplated as part of the master plan. There are some uses that are permitted that are not part of the master plan, but as part of this process, we'll look at whether those should remain within the zoning or not remain within the zoning. What we submitted to you is the environmental assessment form to kind of kick off the secret process and the review for this. We also submitted the zoning petition, which details what is going on in these 3 zones and what we're looking to do. We list all of the uses that are existing, permitted by special permit, and those uses that are proposed to be added to the zoning. And the other thing that we submitted as part of this package last month was a draft seeker scoping document. We anticipate that you would categorize this as a type 1 action under seeker, and that you would require an environmental impact statement for the purposes of the rezoning. And we would propose to undertake a generic environmental impact statement, which would look at the changes to the master plan and the zoning, and identify potential adverse impacts that may occur from build-out under the proposed rezoning. Does that make sense? Any questions?
You can start. So, I lived at Davos many years ago, and grew up skiing, and and I've seen it change hands several times, and I've been to several ribbon cuttings with big plans for redevelopment of the property. I know that a portion of the property is sold now, correct, where like the point windows are?
That's not part of this project. Davos Point actually never was, well, maybe it was in the past, but it's not part of this.
It's not, I see it's cut out.
Correct.
But and I've heard, obviously, what your plans are, but if you could just give a brief overview of what you're looking to do there.
Sure. Actually, I'm gonna pull this up here. So that you can see. So, outside of the project site, right here is the Davos in the Woods, that's
Right.
existing.
You mean Davos Point?
Yeah, Davos Point's right here.
Okay, and
Carved
that's,
out right by the former,
so the point and the woods are out, or cut out?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
There's, this is out, it's only this color
Okay.
is our site.
Yeah.
And the 3 different zones, here is your yellow, here is your green, and here is your orange.
Is the ski area part of your?
Ski area is here.
Okay.
The resort is there, the ski.
The chalet.
The chalet is there. It is proposed to be included. It would be renovated. Other uses throughout the site, there is a mix of various different types of residential. Some single-family small lots, some townhomes, some 2-story apartment type homes. So various different types of housing.
You have a number on that?
Roughly, there's 100 or so units there now, and total number of units is roughly 1,000, a little over 1,000. Again, all of this is proposed. This would not be developed in one shot. The goal here is to address the zoning through a GEIS And then future development, we would, as part of the GEIS, establish threshold where future analysis would be required prior to undertaking any individual site plan approval. This wouldn't be developed, 950 acres isn't going to be developed at once. It would be developed over many years, many phases. Every single phase would have to come before planning board, town board, etc.
There were also plans, if memory serves me correct, of a quite high-end hotel, correct?
There is a hotel right around here, 125 key hotel.
Okay.
Does this border all the existing houses that are up there?
There are houses in this area, so it does border, parts of the site border that. And there are homes in this area, parts of the site border that. As I mentioned earlier, roughly 40% of the site would be developed. A significant portion of the site would remain undeveloped. And you can see where the green is. What's proposed is proposed where the area is almost flat and there's not a lot. There's a lot of wetlands on the site. We are trying to avoid wetlands and wetland buffers to the extent possible. There's an existing interior road network. To the extent possible, we're trying to work with that roadway network. It would need improvements. But we are trying to work with the topography, work with the existing natural features, retain buffers to the adjacent areas to the extent that we can.
What about the hairpin turn? Is that going to exist in your plans?
No. We would obviously study all of the roadways and likely improve. You know, there's rock, there's topography. We don't want to do anything that is, you know, would involve blasting unnecessarily. So we're going to look at that. We do not have detailed site plans for any of this as of yet. These are all conceptual plans. They are subject to change based on input that we get from the planning board, the town board, the public, and as things progress.
What about water and sewer?
Water and sewer, we have Vlad here, who is our civil engineer, and again, keep in mind, nothing has been detailed yet. Our first step is the zoning, and the goal is to look at everything. The individual site plans that we do develop will be based on a hard look at water, sewer, all kinds of natural features. Do you want to touch base on water and sewer?
Sure. There are 4 wells on the property. One is active right now. There's 3 that are not active. We're going to look into reactivating those 3 that are not active to feed the site. There's also a existing sanitary treatment plant that's has seen better days, and we're looking into creating or building a new sanitary treatment plant for to take care of the whole site.
On the side of the old one or the brand?
That hasn't been determined yet, but more or less in the same general same location.
That's below the hill in that shot.
Again, this is all preliminary stages right now. We need input, we need the further design of locating it, you know.
I understand that, but I would think you know your needs. If you're proposing 1,000 houses, which is probably a little more. So I would think that you already know you need water and sewer, and you have an idea where it's coming from.
That's correct. We did have some talks, I believe it was with your group.
That's correct.
So that we had talks with them, our engineer, and another group that is interested in maybe going together and improving the sewer treatment plant. And then the town would get capacity, they would get capacity for their needs, and there's an adjacent property owner that is looking to do something that would also be partnered with us, so.
We're in contract right now. We split it in ways, and Delaware Engineering is working on.
Is reviewing to see what really could be done there.
Yeah, now I'm more concerned with taking 3 parcels, making one where you're only using a third. I'm wondering what uses are in these other that you can't do.
Yeah, actually, we've identified that in the petition. It's a good question. I don't know if you want to highlight a few of them.
Yeah, actually, existing, in the petition, we have kind of a list of the 3 different zoning districts that are there now, what uses are permitted and what uses are not permitted, and then which uses are permitted by special permit. And we also suggested those uses that we would propose to add or allow. For example, convention and events is one of the uses that are not permitted in any of the zones. And we are suggesting that that is something that we would like to add to the zoning as a permitted use, either as a right or a special permit.
Yeah, thank you, but I'm just curious, that's 600 acres, and you're only gonna use 30 or 40%.
Well,
where's it crisscrossing?
what we're not using are the areas that are environmentally sensitive. The idea is that we're not looking at this as strict math, that there are 900 acres, let's use as much as we can. We don't want to use what's in wetlands. We want to preserve wetland buffers. We want to improve the wetland buffers if we can, in the wetlands, the integrity of the wetlands. We want to preserve existing steep slopes to the extent that we can, but we may need to modify interior roadways to develop. So when I say we're only developing a certain portion, I mean of the 950 acres, there will be areas that will be preserved as open space, particularly these areas that you see that are mainly green here. And I know this is far away and it's small, but we can all follow up with the full conceptual plan to this board if you don't have it or didn't remember what we showed you last year. This area that's in green would be pretty much untouched. Same with this area here. There is a stream through here, there's dense vegetation, there's topography there that we don't
Where's the
want to
Neversink
preserve.
River on that map? It's up there.
Yep, it's right along the side and it goes through part of the site.
Okay.
There are wetlands up here that we want to preserve.
Where's Glenwile Road on there?
It's on the right side.
On the right?
See, the map's kind of backwards, the way.
Yes.
Got it.
We're proposing an equestrian, I think there's equestrian uses are permitted in one of the zones. We would want to preserve that as a permitted use because that is one of the uses that we're proposing here, horseback riding in an equestrian center. So for example, right now it's allowed, I think, in the rec zone. We want to preserve that when we make everything into one cohesive zone. So a lot of this isn't about adding uses that aren't there. It's about keeping the uses that are, for example, allowed down here when we rezone this into one cohesive zone.
But wouldn't we be changing the zoning town-wide? So this would be saying that in recreation we can have, or in PUD we can have equestrian centers.
Do you have PUD 4 elsewhere in the town?
No. Yeah, I think it's only here. It would
I
only be
believe
this.
it's only here,
Yeah.
I could be mistaken. I mean, this is the way we're proposing it, whether we call it PUD or something else, we basically, the way we looked at this was the majority of the site is PUD. But there are uses that are permitted in the rec zone that make sense for us, and we want, as an example, the equestrian center, the hotel, different types of residential. There are residential is permitted in all of these zones, but not the actual type of, it's basically single-family residential is permitted, but things like townhomes may not be permitted. So these are things that we're trying to work in a way that is acceptable and would meet the goals of the master plan.
Have you thought what would come first? Let's say
Which phase might be developed first? I think I would defer to ownership to discuss which uses might happen first.
Before we go into that level of granular detail, can I just to try to focus, I didn't participate in the planning board side and the professionals and engineers. I just want to give you some context. There's multiple steps here. One item that they're asking is to amend the zoning. Amending the zoning requires a trip to the planning board and a bunch of other processes. And then there's also the approval of the PUD itself, which also has the same track. If I'm hearing what they're saying correctly, they're expecting the town board to be lead agency for seeker. It's a type 1 action. It affects zoning in excess of 25 acres. The PUD generic code that we have requires a minimum of 25 acres and requires 35% of open space, and it's supposed to be sensitive to, archaeological, visual, ecological, all of the resources, the open space resources. There are some strict timeframes which I'm anticipating they'll be waiving, because once you send it over to the planning board, they only have 62 days to report. Once we have certain hearings, you'll have 62 days to decide. So we're gonna be dealing with that, because there are a lot of moving parts here in this regard. Since it is a large project, it's gonna be a type 1 action because it exceeds the 25-acre threshold for zoning, which requires a long form which they've submitted. It will also require, I believe it's gonna be 239 review, if not the river, there's gonna be a state road, a boundary, something that triggers that, so it'll be full-blown 239. Now, this is a positive declaration type project. Quick seeker, because we don't do it all that often, we've never done a positive deck at this board. When you have moderate to large impacts, there's a positive declaration of environmental significance, which triggers the scoping process, which they've talked about. The scope is a document, it's a checklist. It's a long list, usually 10, 20 pages, of just what they are going to disclose as to the impacts. It's a disclosure process, and once the scoping is agreed, it's on notice to all interested agencies. Okay? And it may be DRBC, DOT, DEC, it'll be all agencies. Everyone is going to be able to have some input on the scoping document as to what needs to be done in the environmental impact statement. Once that's done, there are time frames, and they have to submit drafts, and it's a process that we go through, and it goes back and forth until this board, as lead agency, is satisfied that it's complete, there's filing and publication requirements, which we don't need to worry about right now, and the document on a project of this size may be 1,500 pages, maybe 2,000 pages of impacts. And the impact can be anything that may be impacted. Could be lights, could be water, could be sewer, could be rattlesnakes, could be any number of things. One of the things they're gonna have to do is they're asking for a generic environmental impact statement. Now, a generic environmental impact statement is going to be based on assumptions rather than an actual build-out. The most important thing, because I'm gonna signal my signal to start with, is that they are gonna have to justify why it's a generic environmental impact statement, and they're gonna have to disclose the impacts, assuming a full build-out at the maximum density that they can do if the changes that are requested are made. Because, you know, they may build, how big is the first phase that you were talking about?
That was the hotel phase.
All right, hotel.
Yeah, that's where we started.
So hotel phase is 125 units and however many acreage. So that's very small when you compare it to the rest of it. So even though they may only be building 125 rooms and a hotel and whatever amenities are going on there on a small number of acres, they're still going to have to show what the impacts of the entire project are. So that's what they're gonna have to do in order to do it. Some of the stuff they have already some more granular detail, some of the stuff is less detailed. But those are the prospects of what you have to do in evaluating it. So all of the above are on the table. So don't worry, this is a preliminary step, and
I ask my questions because I wanna know, I wanna educate myself and anyone who's listening. That's why I ask these questions. I'm not familiar with it, so.
Agreed.
And that's why I'd like to know a little more.
And that's why the context is set, because we're at the beginning of a fairly large process, and it's gonna be up to the applicant to show what the story is. Did you go into detail as far as the back and forth between planning and zoning and other things with the?
I did not, no.
So we still have, this is conceptual. They discussed the sort of big picture pros and cons. Once we get to the point where the board is comfortable enough, we'll go to the next step. The applicant's gonna have to put escrows up for professionals, and then we go from there. So this is a very preliminary phase. What you're looking, you can ask granular questions, but it's also 20,000 feet questions, looking down at the project as a whole, so you get a feel, because there's a lot of steps to go between point A and point B.
I'm more interested in the concept. So like I was asking, what would come first, and do you have a market in mind of?
Yeah, so let me touch on that for a second. So you can see this, we started out over a year ago as a hotel concept. And the hotel was generally proposed in the area where Davos Point, the condos are, by there. So it's not directly near homes, but it was close to the condominiums. But the idea is, what you realize, there's a lot of ribbon cuttings, right? And every true developer, this is gonna be in phases.
Right.
Every real developer's gonna come in and say, well, nice, but not quite. So rather than come back and forth with 50 site plan applications, what we thought is, what makes more sense here is to get the master plan generally approved. So you see generally what's gonna come in these areas. Get a criteria of maximum impacts based on this general proposal. And then when individual developers come in and say, I wanna do this here, the details are gonna come out in the subsequent site plan, but that's gonna go through a second secret review to the planning board, and they're gonna have to meet and prove that that individual component of the project is at or less than the thresholds that we're gonna set here. Otherwise, they have to restart seeker again, it's a lot more complicated. So that's the incentive. The incentive is to get the concept done so it can be marketed in components, but it has to be done consistent with what you guys see and gets approved. So there's no surprises. It can't be done. When you come in and you say, oh, well, I want to build a 70-story tower here, it can't be done. It's not in conformance with the plan unless you restart this whole thing. So it's kind of a safety valve, but it also is a marketing safety because 12 ribbon cuttings doesn't really help. You can't market it. You know, everybody's going to have their own little detailed plans, and it's going to change. So that's why we're going the generic approach here. But we'll explain it in however much you want. But
What is your time frame for the first phase, this 125?
well, we don't even have a site plan in this application right now. So it's not the first phase. We don't have it in there. So this is just the general master plan that we're proposing. So it's not going to be a game like, hey, we have this coming. It's like, we don't have it yet. When it comes in, they're going to have to go through an actual site plan application to the planning board.
Just one question back to the water and sewer. Potentially 3 wells, potentially building a sewer plant. Is that something you would build and turn over to the town?
That is part of the discussion.
A study is already being done right now by Delaware.
We're open.
And it would provide additional capacity so we could bring our current Davos units that are being processed by Woodridge now back online with us at this plant would be the goal.
Thank you.
Mayor?
I'm just wondering, so what happens to the Davos buildings that are there now? They'll stay, you'll upgrade them, or you just stay as they are?
They're owned by individual owners.
Right.
Yeah, they're individual homes there that are owned by individuals, and they will stay.
They don't get touched.
Right. Too bad you're not gonna upgrade them, because they're pretty. I lived in one, it was great, but, yeah. And the other thing is, so what I hear is that this is really for you to sort of sell the idea to other developers. You're not gonna necessarily develop the whole thing yourselves. You're in charge of the design.
They own the property now.
Yeah.
And then when you get it zoned consistently with a master plan that makes sense for the town and the vision of the owner, the current owner.
Right.
But it's also a safety valve that somebody can't come in and do something
Great.
completely different. That's the idea.
That's
Unless there's a whole
Unless there's a change. Yeah.
huge, what we're going through.
Great.
This master plan would establish the maximum potential development that would be allowed under the master plan. So a subsequent developer, if they have a different vision, they would have to get it modified. It would not be approved. What we're looking to do right now is to get it zoned so it can be analyzed and processed cohesively, but also to establish and analyze that maximum potential effect.
And just to be clear, if you look at the old, well, it'll be in all the documents, the existing master plan, this isn't like a dramatic departure. Yeah. It's the one thing that kind of triggered all this was we wanted to put the hotel, the boutique hotel up there, and realized that hotel couldn't go in PUD 8 because PUD 8 doesn't allow for a hotel, but 50 feet away it does. So that's kind of what triggered this whole rethinking of it. So it's not dramatic difference if you take the two, right? I mean, but it does increase, you know. glamping is allowed over here, right? So-
Which didn't exist.
Didn't exist, right, so we're writing, yeah, so, but it's not gonna change.
Motion has a question.
Mr. Nathan, before you go into executive session, I wanted to talk to you for 10 minutes.
I don't know about 10 minutes, but I will definitely talk to you at the end of the meeting.
All right, thank you, wonderful.
Okay. Any other questions pertaining to this project? Okay. With that, do we have any executive session items tonight?
Oh, if I might add,
Yes.
before we are, before
course.
we're dismissed,
Yeah.
we would respectfully ask, and I don't know if it's, I know it's a discussion item, we would ask if you were to consider declaring lead agency, accepting the application, referring to the county, pursuant to GML 239, and, declaring lead agency. Intent to
Intent to be
declare.
lead agency.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, I think we're gonna need a little bit of time to
Fair enough.
digest.
Yep, fair enough.
If, George, you can send me drafts of notices of intent, all the agencies that you're designating, 239, 239, and also, since now I'm involved, a full packet.
Okay, I don't believe we have any executive session items for tonight, so with that, can I get a motion to adjourn? All in favor?
Yeah, we're gonna call this.
How you doing, buddy? Good.